Hello, my name is Noah. I'm a member at the MRC, and I'm also a local drag artist here in Ithaca. And there were just a couple things that I wanted to speak on. So this is June, and this is Pride Month for a lot of us in the LGBTQIA+ community. And something that I think a lot of us need to be reminded of is that Pride Month started thanks to Black women. Now these Black women, their names are Marsha P. Johnson and Storm DeLaverie. And what's interesting is that was not something I learned until I was until my late teenage years, early 20s. That was never what anybody wanted to mention, because when I thought of Pride, I just thought of a bunch of naked gay white men marching in the streets. No one told me that it was a riot. No one told me that it was a response to police brutality. And it's heartbreaking to see that you can be a member of the queer community, but if you're white, you must be a part of a separate section of it. Because I remember this time last year, I was at a Finger Lakes Pulse meeting, and it was the only Finger Lakes Pulse meeting I'd ever been to, and it's probably the last one I'll ever go to. And they were asking, what are some things we can do for our community here? I was the only person of color there, of course. And we go around in this circle, and no one says anything about what happened to Rose and Kaji. Not a single person mentioned a single thing about it. They wanted to have barbecues and bake sales and little get-togethers and yoga meetings or whatever the hell they do. But I mentioned this, and all of a sudden everyone starts getting quiet and defensive. They're just like, I didn't know that happened. I go to Cornell. I didn't know that happened. I live in Trumansburg. And I'm just like, you want to talk about doing things for the queer community, why aren't you out there in the streets with the rest of us? And that just goes to show that they still saw themselves separate to what we were doing. As people of color, even if we are queer, we're still people of color first in their eyes. And that's upsetting. But that's part of our experience, and we do our best to push through that because that's what we've always done. That's the history of us as a people. And another thing that I want to mention as well is, as a Pacific Islander, as a Polynesian, our movement for the Polynesian Panthers was inspired by the Black community in the United States. When Polynesians in New Zealand were experiencing racism, they turned to the community here in the United States for inspiration. And they started their own branch of the Black Panthers in New Zealand to fight against what they were going through. And so it hurt me to see my own family, my own community, Polynesians back in California all over saying, this is a Black issue. And it's like, if anything, we need to return the favor. And that was the same thing that I said to the queer community here in Ithaca. Actually, all over. I was like, the Black community did us a favor, now it's time to return it. And so I guess the last thing I want to say is that we are a family, and we have to act like it. And we also need to stick up for one another. Even when we don't think it's our issue, yes it is. Because don't come at me with that all lives matter bullshit. Because that's not true. Our lives can't matter if Black ones don't as well.